Today, I'm launching a 5-step Liberal campaign to cut crime in this country. It's a radical approach, a practical approach, and an effective approach. And it has never been needed more than now. Because after 10 years in office, Labour's record on law and order is one of abysmal failure. And Tony Blair's legacy on law and order is one of tough talk and spectacular failure. You know, I understand crime and I know what effective criminal justice is and can be, because I spent nearly 4 years of my professional life prosecuting criminals in the courts. And my work there reinforced my conviction that a good justice system is one that seeks to engage, to reform, yes, and if necessary, punish. It treats all citizens as equal before the law. It seeks to deter as well as to reform criminal behaviour. Shockingly, we live in a country where only 1 in every 100 crimes committed leads to a conviction in court. Just 1 in every 100. That means you're twice as likely to win a prize on a lottery ticket as you are to be convicted in court of a crime that you have committed. And just as bad, we live in a country where 8 out of 10 teenage boys reoffend within 2 years of release from custody. These figures are a scandal. They are symptomatic of a justice system that is ineffective in catching criminals and ineffectual in reforming their behaviour. And there's plenty of crime to stop. Violent crime has doubled on Tony Blair's watch. Street crime and mugging are rising rapidly towards a disturbing 100,000 incidents each year. And Britain's prison population has topped 80,000 for the first time in our history. The sad fact is that people from deprived communities suffer most from these crimes. They are most likely to be the victims. Labour's failures have hit hardest those who have least. And so we now face a stark choice between philosophies. On the one hand, we have Labour's approach, and on the other, we have the Liberal alternative. The government's attitude is clear. It's given up on the justice system. Fixed penalty notices, cautions, official warnings, ASBOs, and now serious crime prevention orders. All of these prevent crimes ever reaching the court system where they often belong. And as their use rises, so too does the number of crimes that do not lead to criminal convictions. This government pursues headlines with more vigour than it pursues criminals. 3,000 new criminal offences, 23 criminal justice acts have sought vainly to reassure the public and discourage the criminal. But no criminal has ever been stopped by a headline. And our crime rates show it. Yet if this government has proved unable to catch the guilty, it's proved only too willing to impugn the innocent. The largest DNA database in the world, identity cards, restrictions on free speech and assembly. It seems that Labour would rather monitor the law-abiding than catch the offender. And what do the Conservatives offer? Nothing but empty rhetoric. The party that traditionally favoured reactionary authoritarianism now has a leader who wants to hug a hoodie, from one extreme to the other. Look for practical policies to tackle crime, and you will find the Tories have nothing of substance to offer. And so what Britain needs is effective action in the form of practical and pragmatic solutions. To fight crime effectively, we don't need to get tougher, we need to get smarter. Now, we recognise that challenge, and we are ready to meet it. Our Liberal approach to crime is an honest approach to crime. It's based on what works rather than what sounds good. It targets the offender rather than the innocent. And it has the courage to engage with the criminals and seek to reform their behaviour. And where we have put that liberal approach into action, it has a record of success. Our experience of local government clearly demonstrates that fact. In Liverpool, a Liberal Democrat councillor slashed domestic burglary by 24%. And in Liberal Democrat-controlled Newcastle, violent crime has fallen by 12%, after it doubled during Labour's period of control. What we have achieved at local level, we can achieve at national level as well. We can cut crime, and we have the policies to do it. And from this collection of ideas, I have drawn 5 proposals, 5 steps to a safer Britain. First, we'll put more police officers on the beat. This government has earmarked billions of pounds for their ID card scheme. These cards will do little to tackle the reality of daily crime on Britain's streets and estates. But police officers can, as I saw myself this morning at Covent Garden. That is why we would redirect money for identity cards in order to expand our police service. And that is why Liberal Democrats say we can cut crime. And second, we'll take back our town centres. It's unacceptable that members of the public fear crime on their streets. It is not liberal to tolerate intimidation and disorder. And so we will empower members of the public to tackle this problem for themselves. By amending the Licensing Acts, we can make it easier for local communities and councillors to close those pubs and clubs that create problems for local people. That is why Liberal Democrats say we can cut crime. And third, we will have honesty in sentencing. Under Labour, the so-called life sentence is just 11 years on average. And thousands of offenders spend less than half of their sentences in jail. No wonder the public has little faith in sentencing. Liberal Democrats believe that sentences should mean what they say. And life will mean life only for those that judges believe should stay in prison will be given a life sentence. And nobody will be released earlier than the minimum term that they are given. We will also create public service sentences. These will punish non-violent criminals by giving them rigorous community work as an alternative to prison, more productive and a more effective deterrent. And that is why Liberal Democrats say we can cut crime. And fourth, we will make prison work. The current circumstances fail both the prisoner and society. Prisoners who do not participate in education or training are 3 times more likely to go back to crime. And yet well over half of offenders receive no training at all. And did you know only 1 in 5 of prisoners exceeds the standards expected of an 11-year-old in writing? Instead, we will treble the number of prisoners working and make education and training compulsory. And for those with serious mental health problems, there will be increased provision of secure mental health services. We can foster skills among the prison population and create opportunities for those who would otherwise return to a life of crime. That is why Liberal Democrats say we can cut crime. And fifth, we will introduce an entirely new approach to compensating victims of crime. It will be fairer, simpler and swifter. It's only fair that money raised by prisoners in employment should go towards compensating their victims. Prisoners shouldn't sit in their cells for 23 hours a day. They ought to be engaged in work that is productive and useful. By making prisoners do real work for a real wage, we can instill a sense of responsibility, improve and enhance their skills, and ensure that victims are properly compensated. In truth, prisoners will literally pay for their crimes, while gaining the skills and experiences necessary to dissuade them from further offences. And that is why Liberal Democrats say we can cut crime. These ideas show just how serious I am about law and order. And our new ideas on cutting crime will be the centrepiece of our campaign in the run-up to May's local elections. And we will take that message to every corner of the country.